It's August 20th, 2011. Welcome to the 15th annual river crossing at the site of White's Ford, which is where the Confederate Army crossed many times during the War of Northern Aggression. My name is Dave Redden. I'm with the William Norris Camp, 1398 of Sons of Confederate Veterans. This is a commemoration that we do every single year. We've done it for the last 15 years. And next year will be the 150th anniversary of the really big one. The first crossing, there were three major crossings. The first one was after McClellan did his second ride, Stuart did his second ride around McClellan. This occurred after the Battle of Sharpsburg, and they were chased violently around through White's Ford. The horse artillery under the gallant Major Pelham held off Yankee forces, Yankee cavalry and infantry, so that the Confederate cavalry could get across, with hardly a man lost in the entire operation. The second major time, and the one that we usually commemorate, is when Jackson's Corps crossed here in 1862 in early September, beginning what we call the Maryland Campaign of 1862. Third time was in 1864 after Jubal Early had attacked the defenses of Washington, D.C. and came back across at White's Ford. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're going to see this. We have some great people, a large crowd. We've got Greg Clemmer's going to be bringing in a load of folks from the Smithsonian Institution. Greg is a camp member, a great historian, and an author. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Enjoy everything that you see. And remember that it would have been better if you'd been here, because we have great food too. Always got to be something. Yeah, it is.
You're at Lock 26, and if you think about the logistics of this, Early, of course, coming through here, again, like Stuart, is going to be somewhat in a push. He's not as rushed as Stuart's going to be. Stuart's going to get across this river, as we talked about on the bus. Pelham had his last gun here to sort of cover the crossing, and you can't see it now, but a lot of this is gone then. This is the lock house. This is Lock 26. This is how you would get across the river from the tow path. So when the troops coming in, Lee's troops, when he's coming into Maryland in early September 1862, is going to board this up and get his guns across right at this very point. We've got another quarter mile to go down to the lock. Horsemen can just go gallop across the lock, be there. Infantry, they're going to find their own way. In fact, a lot of the infantry are going to go up not only to Frederick, Jackson will go to Frederick, but they're also going to go up to the Monocacy Aqueduct and go across there to secure this stuff. The Federals don't know where they are. They don't know that Lee is going into Pennsylvania. They're not aware of this. Pelham sets up one of his guns, and he is going to be blasting in this general direction, keeping Pleasanton off as best he can, buying time. One of the guns is already across the river as Stuart gets his 1,800 cavalrymen in and across. They get 1,200 horses across. Logistically, that is difficult. It's not as difficult if you've got rapid, fast, fresh horses and troops. He did not, but his enemy also has this same problem. And there's a good quote about what happened right at this point. I can find it real fast. Well, Mosby's going to cross here also, as you know, October 14th, 1864. And he's going to have his raid on Adamstown, back and forth going back across here. He's going to be met by 82 members of the Loudon Rangers. And as Briscoe Goodhart, who was in company of the Loudon Rangers, who wrote the book on the Loudon Rangers, would say, we were in for it, and yet we made the best of a bad bargain. And that Mosby had struck across and then struck back again. And Briscoe Goodhart, again, he has this confusion about where White's Ford is. And he is from Loudoun County. And he states in 1896 that Lee crossed at Nolan's Ferry and Edwardsburg. And that's on page 44 of the Loudon Rangers. So there's this built-in advantage that the South has in that they don't know where this is. And even today in our hike down there, you're going to see, where in the world is this place? This is really obscure. It's a half mile from the parking lot. We've got to walk down the canal to get there. Bottom line is, this is where Lee would cross his artillery to get into Maryland. Jackson is going to go up on these heights. Stuart, coming in from his retreat later, is going to have the 44th Pennsylvania that he's going to knock away, and the 40th New York that never showed up to defend it. So he basically has a good way in. But let's continue our way on down, and I'll just remind you of this. If you hike this long linear trail, when my daughter worked in Yellowstone National Park in 06 and 07, and she said it was the best summer vacation job she ever had, I would often call her on the cell phone from this national park. So I would say, Jill, this is your dad calling you in the nation's oldest national park, and I'm calling from the nation's 10th. I barely noticed him that night. I went to the emergency room. Paul had it, but no service no, because we had all kinds of woods and stuff. We were out hunting and fishing out and hiking. I had two brothers, so we were all nothing's changed. You got a crossing? He is. Oh, yeah. Are you crossing? Way wide. See you real soon until you get to the Virginia side. It's little rocks, it's big rocks. Yeah, it'll be a little slippery and a little flat. Take a picture. Reminiscent to the artilleryman would say the road between Leesburg and the river was so dusty today as to make it impossible to discern a man 3 yards distant. There's no pavement. It's a dirt road. As more and more men go down the road, grinding up the dirt and the dust, it's going to blow up, it's going to get up. It's a hot day, and he can't see anything. And he's also mentioned that the next day, the 5th, he went actually went across. This evening we passed a great many infantry marching towards the Potomac. There are thousands of soldiers camped around Leesburg this evening, and all seem to be in a joyous gaiety, caused, I suppose, by the eager desires and great anticipation of crossing the Potomac and entering Maryland. As I am writing, I hear soldiers shouting, huzzahing all around me. Just now a brass band struck up, which helped to swell the cheer of the merry throng. Gives you a little idea of what's going on. William Fulton, however, would be a little more graphic, and he got down to the edge of the river, ready to go in, and he is from Alabama with the 5th Alabama Battalion. He says this: the water did not part for us on either side to enable us to cross onto dry land, but we hit it up to our waist, and we had to be careful to keep from falling down. I would suggest to you that William Fulton's advice would be well taken today. Have fun.